discuss the Hilchos Shabbos, the Malach of Kosher and Matir. Two of the malachas you know what to do on Shabbos is tying knots and untying knots. And some of the many practical shilos that come up with Kosher and Matir is either tying your shoes, tying garbage bags, and if your gartel gets tangled on Shabbos, could you untie it? And using twist ties on Shabbos, or opening a champagne bottle, it's also kind of like a twist tie. You untwist it. Are those issues on Shabbos? So before we get into the practical halachas, we'll talk about the background of Kosher Matir. Where do we learn out the malach of Kosher Matir in the Mishkan? So there's a few different opinions in the Gemara and Shabbos Ayin Daled on the days that whether the maskana of the Gemara over there is that we learn it out from the Mishkan that they had to make nets to catch the chilazin fish. In the Mishkan, they needed to have chilazin to make to dye the wool. Where did they get the? How did they get the chilazin? So they had to make nets. When they made the nets, they had to tie the ropes to make the nets. And sometimes they also need to untie the nets in order to adjust the strings. So they also have to untie. So that's where Kosher Matir is from. There's a machlekes or a sheinim whether if you're chayiv for untying a knot, if you don't plan on retying it. Meaning, just like by meichik and seiser, when you break something or you erase something, you're only chayiv if you plan on rewriting or rebuilding in its place. So the machlekes is the same thing apply to Kosher Matir. When you untie a knot, are you only chayiv for untying a knot if you plan on retying it? The Rosh says that he says they only chayiv if you plan on retying it, and others disagree. And the Tiferet Shmuel says the reason they disagree is because untying is not a destructive melacha. When do we require that you plan on redoing it? By a destructive malacha, like seiser, if you're destroying something, leichik, you're erasing something, you're destroying the letter. So you can't be chayiv for something which is destructive. You're only chayiv if you refix it. But when you're untying a knot, you're not breaking it, you're only undoing it. So according to that opinion, you're chayiv even if you don't plan on retying it.
Let's say my shoes. I untie my shoes because I know later on I'm going to tie it again. So the untie shoes is already a melacha.
Yeah, if it's a kesher shel kayama, yeah, if it's considered a knot al pi Torah, yeah. Fine. So going on weiter. Also, the first Maranok in the Lashon the Alter Rebbe, the Alter Rebbe says that the Rebbe says, "Where's the Melach in the Mishkan? HaKosher v'Hamatir hein me'avis melachis." Kosher Matir from the Avos Melachis. They came the Mishkan hayu tzivei chalozin Kosher no matirim b'rasha seisein. They would tie and untie their nets. Shekol rashasis asus ksharim ksharim. Each net is made up with many knots. The hein kishrei hayama, and there were knots that would last, that would remain there forever. Sometimes when you take a string from one this and then add it to another one, and mikan. Therefore, that's where we learned that from Kosher and Matir from in the Mishkan. And so that's Kosher and Matir. So getting into the practical part. So which knots are you allowed to make or not allowed to make? What are the different types of knots? So you could split the knots into 4 different categories of knots. There's a knot which is asur min Torah. There's a knot which is asur midrabanan, and there's a knot which is mutter to make. And the 4th knot, there's a knot which is not considered a knot al pi halacha. So b'kitzur, before we read it inside, what are they? So the knot which is asur min Torah is a kesher shel kayama. The knot which is meant to last indefinitely. Meaning you have no set time when you're going to undo it. Even could be you'll change your mind and you'll undo it eventually, or it'll get undone on its own. But right now, when you made the knot, your tzitzis, you're leaving it there until it loosens. That's the kesher shel kayama. Or someone who ties their shoes and they just slip their feet in and out. That's the kesher shel kayama. That's isur min Torah. If it gets undone to tie it on Shabbos or to untie it on Shabbos.
What kind of kesher on shoes? What kind of kesher? What kind of kesher you talking about on shoes?
Just a double knot, or even just a bow. Even just a bow.
A bow, regular bow? That's not, you can remove it, you can just by pulling the string. It's not a kesher shekayom.
No, but it's still also to make it if it's for less than 24 hours. If it's more than 24 hours.
You need a regular bow?
A bow on top of a knot. Not a slip. It's not a slip knot.
It's not a double knot. The way the regular bow you make on a shoelace.
That's
It's just not a double knot.
That's also if it's there for more than 24 hours. And if you do an additional knot, that's all that a lot of places can say that is considered a double knot.
That's why a lot of the panels are
Velcro. So
What?
you said Velcro?
No, local.
Velcro. Oh, okay, yeah, it makes things simpler.
What about the tie? Tie, snips.
Oh, okay.
It's not kesher kayom when it's not 24 hours. What time you going to take it off?
Yeah, so yeah, if it's less than 24 hours, there's no problem. Right, yeah, then you have no, then you definitely have, then you're safe on all, you're covered on all grounds. So this is the kesher which is asur min atzeira. Kesher which is asur midrabanan is a kesher is always going to be asur unless it meets two conditions. First of all, you plan on untying it that day. You plan on untying that day with it that day. And second of all, it's not a professional knot. It's not a craftsman's knot. Which practically, what's considered a craftsman's knot? So, so any of these complicated knots you learn in the Boy Scouts, whatever the butterfly knots or whatever they're
On ships, on
on ships, any of those knots, and we're machmir that even the regular typical double knot is considered a professional knot since it gets very tight, it gets very strong, and also just making a single knot on a single string. Making a single knot on a single string like this, we're also worried that might since it gets very tight, we're worried that it's a craftsman, it's a professional knot since it gets really strong, it gets really tight. But if it meets any of these two, if you meet these two conditions, that it's not a professional knot, which meaning let's say a regular bow like you make on your shoe, you have a knot and a bow on top, and you plan on undoing it that day. And a lot of places say the shear is within 24 hours, then it's okay to make it on Shabbos.
Well, let me ask you, say the Torah has a bow and you close it up by mitzvah or something like Shabbos.
So that's
So using it is by Monday.
right. So that's so everyone discusses the shayla. What do you do when you tie if you don't have the clips on the belt?
Velcro or something.
You don't have the
Velcro,
clips
yeah.
of the Velcro. So what do you do? So
old-fashioned
some places, some say it's an issue, and some say it's an issue. Mincha Shabbos says that you shouldn't do it. Chaim no, he says that it's fine. He says because we're going to see later that any knot which is only asur midrabanan, it's not min atzeira, which means that you plan on and it's not meant to be there forever. Even if you in 20 years from now you plan on untying it, so it's not a knot which is meant to stay there forever.
It's not intended.
Yeah, even on Monday, so it's only asur midrabanan. So it's mutter to make it l'tzerich mitzvah. Tzerich mitzvah, you're allowed to do it. So as Chaim no says, that's the limit chus for the people who tie the knots on the Sefer Torah. They make the bows on the Sefer Torah since it's a tzerich mitzvah. So obviously it's better to get Velcro. I'm saying that you don't have a chatchishim, you shouldn't be Ivar Isser, but yeah, that's tzerich mitzvah. You could do that.
When you put your knot in the shoes, also it's going to shul.
What not?
When you're tying your shoes,
shoes.
Shoes. Yeah, shoes. That's a midrabanan.
Oh, yeah?
The bows that you make. The bow.
Yeah, but you
on
don't-
the shoe is not. It's not a ma'asur. It's not a kesher shul minyan.
it's not a kasher, but it's
Shul
also
minyan. It's maybe midrabanan, but it meets the criteria of the 24 hours.
but leaving there for 24 hours, more than 24 hours, is not tzerich mitzvah. Saying do it for less than 24 hours. And
But it's not intended for permanent to be there permanently.
Yeah.
So it's not a kesher shekayom.
correct.
Because once that's a kesher shekayom, you can't untie it very easily. You need a lot of effort to undo a kesher shekayom.
Yeah.
But to pull a string out and undo.
But it's still also if it's meant to
More than
be there for
24 hours.
more than 24 hours. And the fourth category of knots is a knot which is not considered a knot. A knot which is not a knot. There's no time limit. You can leave it there for as long as you want. The practical two examples is just making a single. The initial knot you make when you tie your shoes, with the meaning not making a double knot. You just cross it like this.
Like that, yeah.
So if you're tying curtains back with a string, you just tie it like this. So even if it'll stay for a little bit, it's not considered a knot. You can leave it as long as you want. And the second knot, which is not considered a knot, is if you make a slip knot. You pull through like this. So this knot is also not considered a knot, al pi halacha. Either different reasons given, either because it's very easy to undo, you can undo it with one hand, or because the physical makeup of the knot itself is made in a way that it's not meant to last. So it's not considered a knot, al pi halacha.
So that should be the same thing like on the shoe? That's almost the same thing?
So it's
Yeah,
different.
it's a slip knot that you have here.
It's different.
Why is
It's
that different?
because
The way how you
on your
described it.
shoe, the bow is made on top of a knot.
Yeah, but that's also that knot is not considered a knot.
The
According to how you described it.
Avnei Nezer, right? The shayla is if this is not a knot, right? But you're asking shayla if a slip knot is not a knot. So
And the first
how
one.
come when you do it? How come when you tie a bow on your shoe, it's an issue? If a slip knot is not a knot, because you pull
That's
it
right,
out.
yeah.
So Avnei Nezer says the isser is not because the bow you made on top. The isser is the original knot. When you tie your knot, first you make one knot, and then you make the bow on top.
Yeah, but you said that was not a knot
But
either.
right. So
Both of
you're-
them are not a knot. So what do you have now?
So let me finish.
Yeah, you
So
finish it,
the additional knot is not a knot. But why is it not a knot? Because it's not going to last. Just one knot isn't going to last. Once you made the bow on top, the bow makes the original knot last, and therefore the isser is on the original knot. Yeah, that's what Avnei Nezer says.
I see. Now you were describing a non-knot, and I see those two components.
Yeah, yeah.
The two designs are in the same.
So Avnei Nezer answers your question.
The bow on top makes the knot underneath more permanent.
Yeah, it makes it stay, it makes it last, and therefore it's considered a knot. And fine, so we'll read inside. So in the first Maramakim, the Mechaber, the Shulchan Aruch writes, number 2. And he writes, HaKesher Kesher Shel Kayam V'Maisa Uman. You make a knot which is meant to last, and it's a tough knot, you're chayiv. Kegoin Kesher Gamalin, the knots that the people rode camels, they would tie a ring through their nose. The Kesher Hasaponim, knots that the people who ran ships, they would tie a ring around the nose of the ship. The Kesher the Tsuis Minol Vasanol, the people, the shoemakers, they would make a knot to attach the strap to the shoe. The sandal shekoishim haratzonim b'shas asiyasan when they will make it. The thing called kesib, these are all knots which are not ever meant to come out, and you're chayiv on them. And he goes on, the kesher she'ini shel kal yama ve'ini ma'isa uman. But if it meets two conditions that say it's not a professional knot, and it's not a shel kal yama, it's not. Then it's most of the kasher l'chatchila. You're allowed to do it. The Rama brings an opinion. What's the shear? What's the shear shel kiyam? The Rama brings machlekes. The Ramachmir, he brings like the opinion that says that less than a day. Now, which is meant to last more than a day, is shel kiyam. Because for less than a day, so then it's okay. Right. So Mamela, so what's? So that's so what? Yeah. So any. So knot which is not a professional craftsman is not as mutter for less than a day.
How about in the army? Like the big shoes and a lot of knots, a lot of tight.
Big shoes?
Yeah.
How many knots do they make?
They have a lot of string to go in there, over there. And in the top, you have to go around the shoes to hold them.
Oh, but it's going around it, but you just make a
And then
regular
you
knot.
No, the regular knot without holding. You need a stronger knot, a double knot.
I'm saying you're talking about if they're going fighting and they're doing serious stuff. So I'm saying just like
It's a knot.
Active
No.
duty.
No, you're not fighting. You're in the.
Even in active duty, you got to carry a gun. You can kill you across the border.
Not necessary.
They do carry guns on the border. Well, you can go on active duty. You have to.
You camp inside
I'm
or
saying
something.
if you're on duty and you're on guard and you're worried something's going to happen, okay, maybe things are different. So, you have to ask the rabbanim who answer shaylas for the army.
You think they know? You think they know?
So going on. So which knots are considered professional knots, and which knots are not considered professional knots? So the Rama in the third Maramakim he says, the Yesh Aimin, the Yesh Lizar Shlei Lahatir Shum Kesher Shu Shnei Ksharim Zalzeh. The Yesh Aimin, the Shulta Giberin, says that nowadays we're not sure which knots are a craftsman's knots. The Gemara says the knots are used for donkeys and for boats and for shoes. But what type of knot was that? We don't know what type of knots they made. So therefore, we're machmir that all knots which come very tight, including the regular common double knot, even though you would think that's a professional knot, everyone makes it. Every kid knows how to make a double knot. But still, since it gets very tight, we're worried that it might be a kesher uman or a machmir. The inanu vikim is a mikri kesher shel uman. We're not sure which knot is kesher uman. Ba'afilu b'she'eni shel kayam asr l'kashri v'hu adin la'atiri. And therefore, a double knot, even if you were planning on untying it that day, you're tying a double knot on your shoes, it's also you can't tie it or untie it. Yes, if you forget to untie a double knot before Shabbos, you can't untie it on Shabbos.
What was the reason why untying is no good? What was the reason? Whatever on the shul, let's say.
Saying you can't. There's a milch of kosher, there's a milch of matir. If it's a kesher, you can't tie it, and you can't untie it either. They go hand in hand. Any knot you can't make on Shabbos, you can't untie it.
The kesher, I thought the milch was making the knot, not undoing the knot.
There's two different melachis. There's milch of kosher, there's milch of matir.
Oh, that's what you learned from the nets, from the fish?
Yeah, we learned both of them from there.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, the Alter Rebbe says it
for Shabbos, they have food and somewhere that's behind the knot or something.
Oh, yeah, so we say so. L'tzedich mitzvah, you're allowed to make any knot which is only make or untie any knot which is only asim d'Rabbanan, which practically means any knot which was not meant to last forever. You're allowed to make or untie l'tzedich mitzvah. So if you have the cover was tied with a double knot, so the kid shouldn't get into it, and you have the wine there, and you need it for it to make kiddush, so you're allowed to untie it on Shabbos because it's the tzedich mitzvah. And I guess also, also champagne bottles that has a twist. I think so. Even if you're going to be machmir,
a twist is considered a knot.
So it's a deal. I'll get at the end. A lot of achim are machmir that it should be a knot. That you shouldn't do it if it's meant to last more than 24 hours. That twist ties it would be an issue.
Like this.
So untwisting. So the champagne bottle.
Yeah,
So
when you go by challah, they put the challah in the bag. They put those little twist ties.
You got the metal ties.
yeah.
What's wrong with the metal ties?
So
On the challah bag. That's a good question.
so
It's the same thing, right?
yeah. So fine. I brought this in the end, but we'll jump to it now. And you asked about the challah ties. There's a Rambam says that how do you make a rope? You make a rope is a bunch of smaller strings and you twist them together to make a bigger rope.
It's braided together.
Yeah, you braid. Twisting, you're not saying look at your tzitzis. It's not braided. It's just twisted. Yeah, tzitzis they just twist it together. I don't know how they get it to stay without getting undone, but it's twisted. And
This is a mixoy I'm not familiar with. You should come here with pictures.
so it's
They're dealing with blind mice over here.
so the Rambam says that twisting the strings to make a bigger rope is a tolda of kosher. In undoing, right? So maybe if your tzitzis get untwisted at the end, unfrayed, and you twist it back together, that's the issue. And undoing the tzitzis is a malacha of matir. So this seems to be similar. So all of a sudden you see. So the question boils down to what is kesher? Is kesher and making a knot? Is it a very specific type of action of making a knot, or is there any way of twisting ropes that they get stuck together?
It's not a mice It's not mice though. The twisting. Twisting a metal tie is not my summon. Anybody can do it. Kid can do it.
So let's read the Rambam. You brought the question, so we'll jump ahead to number 12. The Alter Rebbe brings down the Rambam. Shulchan Aruch doesn't bring down this Rambam, but the Alter Rebbe brings it down. The Magen Avraham and the Alter Rebbe bring it down.
Are you going to 12 now?
Yeah, 12, number 12.
One second. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, so Alter Rebbe says, "Hapisel chavoli mikol min sheyeh." Someone who twists ropes from whatever material it is, chayiv mishum kosher. Chayiv mishum kosher. V'shiurei li'ischayiv min ha'teireh kadei sheyamid ha'chevel v'psilosei like shipon. How much you need to twist in order to be chayiv? Enough that you twist it that it won't get undone, it won't fall apart. Like shira b'seifei, without it making a knot at the end. Shnin seis melachti miskayemes. After the seifim is also b'chol shavun. You're not allowed to twist it even less than that, even though it will come apart afterwards. V'chein hamafrik psil, and so too if you take apart the rope, chay mishum mater, chay mishum untying. The shiuri kashir hapisel, and the shear is the same as someone, whatever the shear is to tie it, it's the same as shear to untie it.
But what about this is not a knot? This is not a knot that's going to last for more than 24 hours.
So it would still be asur midarabanan,
even though it's not going to last for more than.
If it's
using it over Shabbos.
Oh, okay, right. So, fine. So first of all, comes out from the Rambam here that twisting could be considered making a knot. So it could be a kesher. So the shaila is the kesher is always going to be also unless it means two conditions. That first of all, it's not a professional knot, and it's meant to last for less than 24 hours. So the Rambam seems to say clearly from the Rambam here, twisting is considered a professional knot, right? Because he says you're chayiv. So we'll see that it's a.
Why would you consider that a professional knot? It's so easy to do. I can show you now what the sailors do with. I mean, they show pictures of it. I mean, very difficult. Or make a kesher shel tefillin. Not everybody knows how to make a kesher shel tefillin.
Right.
Those are complicated knots.
So
how do you compare one with the other?
So the Achrein, the Divrei Yatziv and the Shevet HaLevi, they question this to whether you could say. First of all, some people question that some din of the Rambam. It's not brought down in Shulchan Aruch, although the Magen of Rambam did ever bring it down lahalacha. But they say a lot of that could be so. Not everyone holds of it. And also they say even if you want to say that twisting is considered a knot, but to say that a twist tie is considered a professional knot, like twisting the ropes, that's stretching it too far. So we're not going to say that twisting a twist tie is considered a professional malacha like making ropes. Therefore, Lamaisa, the Divrei Yatziv says that for less than 24 hours, the twist ties which are meant for less than 24 hours is okay.
It's a matter of intention. If you don't touch it, it can stay. Then it's not going to unwind by itself.
Yeah.
You mean you're talking about intention, what your intents are.
Yeah. So
you can use it within 24 hours.
What about a champagne bottle?
So a champagne bottle, I'm assuming it usually doesn't make it to the stores within 24 hours, right after they package it. I'm assuming. So people they know it's not gonna. They know it's never open within 24 hours. So that would be. That would be problematic.
Will be kesher shel kain.
Midrabanan.
You are matter.
Midrabanan. So seich mitzvah. You don't have wine for kiddush. You could undo it. It's fine. It's beseder. And so it's better. I'm saying some people are methakbek and saying could be there are some.
Isn't it a matter of intent? If your intent is to use it for kiddush, so it's not. You're not going to let it go. It won't be any different when you take
But
the
who
top.
made it? The people who made the knots. The people who closed it, they knew it wasn't going to be open within 24 hours, right? So it has to be a kesher shel kayama.
So if you take a challah bag, it's sitting on the grocery shelf. So that's the same thing with the champagne bottle.
So it's different. So buying things from a fresh bakery, they sell everything fresh. They put it out that day. They just packaged it last night, and it's already on the shelves to be bought the next day. And there's a good chance, and they want it to be sold. There's a good chance that it would be untied the next day. So that wouldn't have a din of a kesher shel kayama. And not only that, even if it ended up staying, right? Well, let's say they packaged the challah, they packaged it in the bakery. They did a let's say it's the thing of cookies, and they were selling it for next day, and it didn't get sold until Shabbos. So the knot was actually there for more than 24 hours. But since they didn't intend it, since they made it with intent that it should be available, it should be sold next day, they wanted to sell it right away. So even if it stayed there for 24 hours, it doesn't have a din of more than 24 hours. It doesn't have a din of a kesher shel kayama. The same thing is with your shoes. If you normally untie your shoes within 24 hours, let's say you didn't, you ended up leaving, you tied it.
You fell asleep in bed for 24 hours.
You tied it Sunday morning, Friday morning, and you fell asleep with your shoes on. And Shabbos afternoon, you want to untie your shoes. So even though in the end it ended up staying there for more than 24 hours, since you didn't make it with that intention, it's fine. Since when you made the knot, you did not intend that, it doesn't have a din of a kesher shel kayama.
But why is the champagne bottle different? Because with the intention was to stay there for a whole month on the shelf.
But they knew that
their intention is to sell the bottle, sell it quick. You sell it. So what's their intent?
The question. The question is what's
meant to be sold right away?
No, it could be sold in a year. Could be sold in 5 years.
It's a wholesaler.
The question.
Oh, you mean to say from the wholesale. So you don't want it to be contaminated.
The question is, what's the metzias? If the metzias that after they package the champagne bottles, they usually makes it to the shelves within 24 hours after they package them?
No, probably not. No.
Okay, so then you can't say they made it with intent that should be undone within 24 hours. They know that it's not.
But he's funny.
Yeah, so
there is a difference between the challah bags.
Yeah, so it also these cakes with all these. And also some of these bakeries that they make cakes that can last for a few months, and so the question is also if these cakes,
preservatives,
if those cakes if the cakes usually sit around and they don't normally make it to the shelves within 24 hours, so it'll also be an issue. But these fresh baked things which are there which are on the shelves within 24 hours to be sold.
The cakes that not meant to sell right away or a couple of months, it's not loyal.
Eventually, they want it to be sold.
So, but it's still awesome midrabanan.
It's the same thing like the bottle, champagne bottle.
Still awesome midrabanan.
Now, when they have a cake, they have a sticker that says who it is, and it's closed. To open it in Shabbat, you can try to take it out, but you tear it.
Oh,
Well,
so
which
that's
one? What is
another.
that?
That's
I don't
another
follow,
rule.
but what's
We'll
that?
get to it.
Are you allowed to?
Well, I didn't hear the scenario.
He's asking about lachab kireya. If you have a sticker holding it closed, could you undo the
I mean,
sticker?
there's a
Holding the
seal,
container.
you know, seal around
Over the
it.
container.
There's a sticker.
Take it
You
out.
have to take off the sticker. So that could be
No,
that could be an
I
issue.
have to see a picture of it.
That could be an issue of kireya. That could be that
So
could
you
be an
can't.
issue.
Because you
You
have
cut
to
it. You cut it.
B'derech shino, you're allowed to. All the
There's-
packages with Shabbos, b'derech shino, you're allowed.
There's a
The same will apply the combing, the girls' hair, that little twisting,
yeah.
There's a lot of twisting there.
I mean, braiding to here.
braiding. Okay.
I mean,
Not
Braiding.
this is very,
That's true.
this is
They
professional.
open it,
Talking about
no,
that,
but-
artisan.
but it's not your karma.
take it out.
Why not? Why not?
They do it just to come around.
Has to come to show.
Do I have these ponytails? Where you go with ponytails all week? What do you do with that? It's braided like a challah. It's braided like a challah.
The garage, whatever.
Okay, so that yeah, it could be that's getting into other malachas. Yeah. Fine, so that's the Maisa with the twist ties. So going back to what we were talking before, we were talking about.
So what the Rambam would hold that usher as far as the challah bags are concerned.
Well, they see even according to the Rambam. it's
Based
not
on his
considered-
language, based on the words that he's saying over here. He looks like he's...
Not to follow that.
But he wants to say
the
that.
Rambam looks like he's describing...
Right, but Achronim want to say that's talking about making ropes, but a little twist tie. The Rambam didn't say that it's Maisa Uman. The Rambam didn't. The Rambam's not going to say that a twist tie is Maisa Uman. The Rambam's talking about making ropes. What's he talking about twist ties?
It's the Rambam saying, he's talking about, he's referring to ropes.
Yeah, but a twist tie could be the Rambam would also say it's not a Maisa Uman.
Doesn't lie.
So therefore, for less than 24 hours is
I
okay.
understand that, yeah. But the question is, when you read the Rambam, you have to read him literally and see if it's what he's saying exactly, you know what I'm saying? If he doesn't elaborate, you're just putting words in the Rambam's words.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like reading a document, like a
Different
contract.
Yatziv,
You see
number
what Is he
13.
saying that? Is he saying what you're saying? That's
In
the-
number
that's the
13,
question.
the Yatsi says, "V'akapanim zehirus b'holma hu b'loshen ramo." I mean, this are machmir for it to make a double knot is a chumrah. In came al kapanim b'keleya b'niyutan nidan comes to just twisting the twist tie shehu liyema. It's only for that day. Ish lahotu v'hai gavna she'ini mais uman ve'ini
And
lekayam.
look at you. Who's this person here?
The
Guy?
Yatsi is
I never
the
heard of him.
what's his name? Halberstam. Yeah, info from the Divrei Chaim.
We heard about everybody?
No, I never heard of this guy. This is a novelty to me.
No, he's famous. He's well known. His chivs are quoted a lot. He's a Chassidish. Fine, Al Kapanim, and so going on. So which knots are considered professional knots? Yeah, the poison maker. So Al Kapanim, fine. So going back to number 3, so the Ramah says Ramachmir not to make a double knot. However, the Ramah gives one case where we're going to be making for a double knot. We call makim needed to be makim tzara in number 3. The second line, number 3 at the end.
It's over here. They show you?
Yeah, in the end. We call makim.
Who is that?
At
Oh,
the
over
end,
here.
the
Over
second
here.
line.
Second line.
We call makim needed to be makim tzara in lachosh umutlatiri. In the case of tzar, you are allowed to untie a double knot. Deine ela isur d'Rabbanan, but makim tzar le'gazur. Since this double knot is only Asher Midrabanon, and the Alter Rebbe ends in a second Tanai that we're only going to make one that also then this double knot was meant to be undone within 24 hours. So the end you could be makel but makim tzar and untie it. Right, so double knots were machmir and you can't untie it. But makim tzar and l'chatchila you intended to undo it within 24 hours, you could untie this knot.
Well, that's just what about a double bow?
So this is an example. So let's say you made
This
a
is a
double knot
double
on your
knot,
shoes.
but a bow is something
Yeah,
different.
Pashas, a
though.
double knot. Yeah, it's a double knot also.
Same thing.
Same thing, double bow is the same thing?
Pashas is a double.
It's an issue involved. It's a lot in the Torah.
Okay, one second. One second. I'll get back to that in a minute. But let's say you made a double knot on your shoes and you forgot to untie it before Shabbos, then you can't slip off your shoes.
Stop.
Or even if you, Or even if you could
Slip
slip
with it.
even if you could slip it off, but you can't put it back on in the morning
That's
without
right.
It will
untying
be
it.
a tzar for you.
So that's makim tsar, and you're allowed to undo the double knot on Shabbos. You're allowed to undo it on Shabbos.
You can redo it again after it, but
Yeah, after you just do a regular single bone, and then that's the stage.
You can do it with one.
And
This is only the Rabban that are not.
that's a double knot. A double knot,
Rabbanon.
which was originally intended to be for less than 24 hours.
How about for kids? Kids, you have to make double knots. You cannot go with one knot. It's
And
not kesher shel kayama, and it's not 24 hours.
so,
What kind of knots you talking about?
Regular knots you make on the shoes. For the kids, you have to make stronger. You have to make double.
So you make a double bow.
Yeah.
so,
He just said it. He just told me he's also
so,
with
that,
the Rabbanon.
For kids.
so
not
that,
for us.
fine. So getting back to the shoe. So then this saying, one of the Faz Ryan said the meaning is to be Oyster that making a double knot on the shoes is awesome, right? I'm saying, unless anyone heard of placing that on Makel? So that's what Shemay Shabbos Kilchasa says. He says that making another knot on your shoe is awesome. It's an issue. And it's a Sefer Erchei Shabbos written by two from Lakewood. Over there, they say it's mutter. They're Makel they argue. They say it's okay to make a double knot on the shoes. Why? He says that if you try that we said that the halacha is that a slip knot, you're allowed to make a slip knot on Shabbos.
They're both of them slip knots. The
What?
bows, the double bows are double. There's
And-
two slip knots.
They say what's they say a bow, something which you could undo, something which you could
Just
pull
pull-
out. It's considered a bow. So they say the fact that even so, see, it says even if you make a double knot on your shoes, if you pull the strings, it'll come out also.
both of them will come out.
Both of them
Both
come
of them
out.
will come out. Saying sometimes you have to pull pretty hard. If you pull hard enough, they'll both come out.
Right.
They'll both come out. So you want to say it's not considered a double knot. It's considered like a double bow. It's considered a double bow. It's not a double knot. It's a double bow. And a double bow is okay. Since well, the pale. So that's.
I never heard of a woman.
I sometimes
So
a double bow. But it has
I don't think
slippage.
I don't think anyone's
Some
name
of the
like
round,
that.
round laces, they don't hold. They slip.
I don't.
You know,
So I don't.
you know the deal.
Not right away.
I don't know anyone. I don't know anyone that
It's
does this,
open.
but I think that
Half
there's
an hour later.
people like
exactly.
Shmir
Half an hour later, it's
Shmir
open.
that we don't
I
make
have to
double
make a double
knots.
bow on it.
Mishnah Berurah, that's
The round legs. Yeah, but the fan,
Put another
this,
one on top.
the,
You take two bows and make another thing. And he says
like this.
A bow on top of a
It's made
bow.
fancy, but not
Fancy, yeah.
Oh,
It
so
doesn't
that's,
hold.
he's talking about
Slips.
something else. So there's a double knot. So the way we tie we make a double knot on our shoes. That's a double knot. But there's something else called aniva agavi aniva.
What's a
A
niva
bow
means?
on top. Aniva
Aniva
is a bow.
Oh, I didn't.
A bow on top of a bow. What is that? So then, if you want to have the best eitzah, if you need to make a stronger knot on your shoes, it keeps coming out. So this is the best eitzah. You make a double bow. A double bow is different than we tie our knots. Usually we tie our shoes. You tie, saying you have the first knot on top.
Like that.
You have the first knot on top, and then you make two loops. Yeah, make two loops. You tie it, and then you make another knot with those two loops. Yeah,
It's a double bow.
that's a double knot that we don't do. That's a double knot because the second.
Cause the first one.
The first knot is a knot. The second knot is a bow, but is a yeah.
But that makes the
but
first
the one
one.
you're making on top is a regular knot.
So the third one,
That's the issue. So what's aniva gabi aniva? What's the bow on top of a bow? So the base asa, if you want to tie your shoes, so first of all you only make one loop. Don't make two loops. You pull it through azayin, pull it through like this. So you only have one loop, and the other string is still long. So this is a regular loop. You pull it, and it'll come right out. It's just like a slip knot.
Slip knot.
So this is mutter if it's for less than 24 hours. Then take the long string. Then you make the second loop, and then you tie the two loops together. Yeah, then tie two loops together. So you end up coming as with a double. Looks like a regular double knot, but it's very
it's one
different.
and a half.
It's not a knot on top of a loop. It's two slip knots.
It's a knot and a
It
loop.
will. Look, this one comes right out, and then the second one comes right out. It's a slip knot on top of a
How
slip
did you
knot.
do that again?
The first one, you just do with one. The
And then
first
the-
one, you just do with
This
one.
is not, the hand is quicker. The hand is quicker than the eye. This is a hocus pocus.
Usually you make two circles, you make two loops, and you tie it like that. So you
So
end
you
up.
have a knot in the first one.
Yeah, you have a
You have a knot right
that's how
away.
you tie your
Before
shoes.
the yeah.
You have the original knot, and
yeah.
then you make
You have
two
two
loops,
loops on top of that.
and then
right?
you tie it. This is how you normally do it. Usually you
Yeah.
end up with two loops. But
No, this
the way to
one
do it on
loop.
Shabbos is different. This is 2 loops, right? I made 2
Oh,
loops.
2 loops,
And then you cross it and you tie it like that.
I don't even use my shoe like that.
What?
I don't do it.
Right, some people do it different. They do it, they pull it.
Yeah.
But you end up with the same thing, right? You
Yeah,
end
same
up with
thing.
2 loops.
Yeah,
You
2
end up with
loops.
2 loops.
Correct.
The way to do it, the way to make a double knot on Shabbos is not an issue, is you only make 1 loop. So you pull it over, and you pull the loop through the hole, and you end up with only 1 loop. Yeah? You end up with only 1 loop, right? And if you pull the short string, it'll come right out. So you end up with a loop and a long string.
You leave the other side open, you don't make the loop.
Yeah, you don't make the loop. So then, when you make the second knot, then you make the second loop, and then you tie it together. Then you tie it together, and then you have, what you end up with is 2 slip knots, one on top of the other. You pull one, it comes out. You pull the second one, it comes out.
Okay.
So
What is the problem?
so that's fine for less than 24 hours. That's fine for less than 24 hours.
But I'm wondering, I have 2 loops on mine on the first loop.
Right, so that's different. That's how we normally do it. That's how you normally do it. The way to do it on Shabbos is to only make 1 loop on the first time.
1 loop.
You have to play. You have to play around, experiment a little bit
So
afterwards.
what's the difference between 1 loop and 2 loops? I'm confused a
The way
little.
you make it.
What's 1 loop and what do you make different here?
It's a slip knot and a slip knot and a slip
The
knot.
2 loops have,
They look the same, but it's not.
but they both slip knots. I used to make 2 loops and 2 loops, 4
Right.
loops, and I can pull one shot to help.
You're being set up on the lake.
Let me do it again.
What? I don't know. Something
whatever,
going on.
that's
Something
okay.
wrong. I don't.
So, or you get a slip puncher. Yeah, or you get a slip puncher. That's the thing. Nival. That's called the nival. Gavi nival. Yeah. Okay.
I don't see too much of a difference.
Necktie.
A necktie.
The lake people
So
are.
I think
In Hebrew, it's not necktie.
No, I haven't like that.
I sure Shabbos will say since.
If I want to make an extra one,
Tie it within
I just
3
do it.
days
Just
and
go
wrap
do the
it on
same
the
thing
necktie.
again, you know.
What?
You touch your shoes
2-3
now when
days
you
after
don't
Shabbos to untie.
And then I pull it
Within 24 hours. Within 24 hours.
24.
That's
Mr.
what
Berg
the lake
brings,
people
if
are
not 24, you have
7 days. Another shit of 7 days.
There's a 7, there's a 3-day and then a 7.
The Rabbeinu Yerucham says 3 days, but Mishnah Berurah says B'Shas HaTchak Makim Tzeichi B'Meikol 7 days. Alter Rebbe doesn't bring that down though. Yeah.
Right, he brings
This is untying, but what about actually have Shabbos?
That's the same thing. That'll be the same thing according to Mishnah Berurah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, because it's Shabbos,
The Makim Tzeichi Gadol, you could be Meikol for a knot which is meant to last for less than 7 days. That's the
I'm
Mishnah Berurah.
confused already
Mishnah
with the
says.
bows.
Yeah.
I'm
So you
confused.
get a slip on shirt. Get a slip on shirt.
You got to come with pictures. If you don't, what?
Go without you.
They say a picture is worth in 1,000 words.
Yeah.
Okay. I
And
gave
you're
you
talking about
demonstration.
this. You got to come with pictures. You got to come with diagrams. You can't come like this alone.
Fine.
Yeah.
Right there.
Are you permitted to tie one bow to tie your shoes?
Yeah, that's fine as long as you normally undo it within 24 hours.
Got it.
Yeah.
What I usually do during the week for tying my shoes is, because I know with one bow they slip out, I tie a double bow. On
On Shabbos.
Shabbos, what I'd be permitted to tie a single bow.
Would you be able to make a single bow?
Yes.
Single bow is okay, but the second bow, we're not to make another additional knot.
So what I'll do from now on Shabbos is tie a single bow for tying my shoes.
Yeah. Or if you keep track of the little complicated thing
No,
I did.
It's not complicated at all.
I think it's
Some
very easy.
people- once you figure it out.
Be careful not to make it a double knot.
Fine.
Everybody pick up the shoes.
Going on weiter. What? There's other knots which are also not considered permanent knots. First of all, actually go weiter.
Which number?
Before that, go to number 4. What about a double knot? We said a double knot is an issue. But there's a lot of achinim say based on the Magen Avraham that what if you make the second knot, you leave it loose, you don't pull it tight? Is that also considered a professional knot? So they're medayik that what's the reason they say that is that it's, a lot of achinim say it's okay. So what's the reason we're machmir that a double knot is a permanent knot, a professional knot? Because it gets very tight. So you don't pull it tight, so it's okay.
You can't do it very easily.
It's a tight knot. So the Chayin brought the Shaila, it was mostly going to get to put different clothes for a tichel, to make a double knot on a tichel to keep it on, or
A what?
or for the ladies for their tichel.
What's a tickle? What's that?
Tichel,
A tickle. I said tickle.
a tichel to make a double knot to keep it on,
My hearing's not
or
good.
or a belt to put a belt on a dress. They have those string belts, and you have to make a double knot to keep it in place.
Fancy schmancy.
So what were they supposed to do? So Muhammad's school said if you don't make it tight, you leave the second loose, the second knot loose. It's not you don't pull it all the way. So it's not considered a professional knot, and it's fine if it's for less than 24 hours.
The women, when they do something, it's just a couple hours. To go to the event, to come back, and they
Have to change again.
Right, so they leave it loose. They don't pull it
When
that
they go on
tight.
vacation, the whole wardrobe.
what they wear and what they don't wear.
What's that? Let me ask you
I come with just one pair.
what's the makar of the isser of a knot to begin with? What's the where's it come from? You can't make a knot.
So that's the first one I'm looking from the Mishkan that they were,
Mishkan.
when they made the nets. To catch the chilazin fish, to catch the chilazin to make it to use the dye, they had to
Did they
make
did it every
nets.
single day, or did it once in a while? They did it.
So let's say they had to, even if they did it once, since it was the process of making the Mishkan, since the process of making the Mishkan was they needed to make the nets to catch the fish, and over there they had to tie the strings on. So that's considered. So that's where we learn out the malacha. The other opinions where we learn out from in the Gemara, maybe we learn out from when they had to tie the Urias to the pegs of the Mishkan that tie it down, or when they were making the Urias, the strings that broke.
Weaving,
they had,
no? That's weaving.
when the strings broke, they had to tie the strings together. When they were making it, but there are different opinions. The Maskana we learn out from the nets in the Mishkan. Right, so loose double knots are is fine for less than 24 hours.
Even if the lights are off?
Yeah, it's not yeah. There's a chiddush of Chayim. Let's read the Alter Rebbe. The Alter Rebbe talks about which knots are knots and which not in the knots which are not considered a knot. Alter Rebbe goes to number 5. It says kesher echad v'aniv al gabov, making the additional knot, like when you tie your shoes, and making a bow on top of it, like when we tie our shoes. Yeah, only stafik by klav b'kesher ma'isa uman. There's no suffix at all that maybe it's a ma'isa uman. And mutal kashri v'atiri b'chol inyan in einay oimidli skayim klav. If it's not meant to last at all, meaning you're going to untie that day.
Sure, it's temporary.
The einay ela kesher echad b'vad. What if he just made one knot, the additional cross of when you tie your shoes? Kesha echad b'vad b'lei anivo, without a bow on top. Al galav eini nika kesha klal. It's not a knot at all. Mutar l'kashrei latira afilu imeli skayim lo'ivim. Even if it's meant to last.
Well, what does it
forever.
mean by that? It's like a double knot.
No, just one, just like
One?
this.
That's it?
Yeah, just like when you tie your shoe. That's not a knot at all. That's garnished.
But what he had underneath it, you started off with that, and that's it?
You tied it around. Let's say you're tying the curtains. You want to hold the curtains open. You tie a string around. You make just one
that's
knot.
all? Oh.
That's not a knot
It's
at
one
all.
knot. That's one knot.
But that's garnished. It doesn't have any kiyum.
No kiyum. It's not
There's no
a
kiyum.
bit.
So it's not considered a knot at all. Okay, Allah is not a knot, and it can last you forever. You can do whatever you want with it. But then Alter Rebbe says, this is all when you're tying two things together, two strings. That's when just one knot is not an issue. But if you're making a knot on only one rope like this, yeah, you're just pulling it through like that. So that's pretty strong. That's not going to come out, and that's ma'isa uman, and that's usher even for less than 24 hours. It has a din of a knot of the double knot, and you're not allowed to make it on Shabbos unless it's a mitzvah and it's for any of those reasons.
So if it's just have a knot over here, something happened, one knot, and I'm not allowed to open on Shabbos. One tzitzis, right?
Yeah.
And one knot went like this on Shabbos, by mistake. Now I'm bored, I just want to open it. I'm going to the Rebbe, I'm not allowed to open it.
So that's different. Now, which we'll get to sooner. Now, which is made by mistake. So actually,
How about it sits? Let's say-
Just like that.
let's
I
say
want to
it
take
sits
it to
not
open it
it.
now.
the Mishnah, so that's different. The Mishnah Berurah brings down the din from the Chai Adam that a knot which was made by mistake. You're trying to make a bow, and you accidentally made a double knot. Since it was made without kavanah, it's not considered a knot. It doesn't have the din of a ma'isa uman since it was made by accident. Then you're allowed to untie it on Shabbos.
I didn't do it on Shabbos. I'm looking at my Shabbos and I see I have a knot. I just want to open it.
Since it was made by accident, since it was made without kavanah,
so you're allowed to open on Shabbos.
Yeah, the Mishnah Berurah and a lot of and most Achronim say that it's okay.
Anytime you play with your garden, they say, hey, you're allowed, so just go ahead and go.
So also according to that, if your garfield gets tangled up, your kids are playing with it and they made a knot on it on Shabbos, so according to that, you're allowed to untie it since it was made without kavanah.
But I mean, now if you see that on your tzitzis, it has like it has like a double knot, and can you see one that came out? You allowed to make it again?
No, that could be so that's pashas. That's a deraisa.
That's it.
Right, because it's a double knot. It could be it's a double knot, and you plan on leaving it there forever. You have no intent that it should ever be undone. So that could be tightening your tzitzis on Shabbos. You have to be careful. Tightening
before you daven, you should check. No.
You check them, yeah, but you don't.
You can't tighten your tzitzis?
On Shabbos, you can't tighten your tzitzis.
Why not? The cash is there. You didn't make the cash. You just.
No, the knot, you make the knot till it just touches, Dalik, and you pull it shouldn't be a knot. You're letting the next piece, and just, so it doesn't touch the other.
It's still
that the Chayinah says that's also an issue because according to a lot of Pesachim say that even a loose kesher is still considered a kesher, even though it's loose, it's still considered a knot. Okay. So when you pull the knot, even though it's still loose.
My father
it's still, and you have a mind to leave it there forever. That's the issue.
What was that word again?
My father teach me hold the finger like this, and then check if you have 8 string. Don't go like this 4 and 4, because once you go 4 and 4 and you pull it.
Chayinah says even just pulling a little bit closer and out of the way. It's also
making even the nuts there.
You shouldn't pull it closer.
Better leave it.
That's also it's a lot.
I mean, I still touch it.
Do you think it could be a problem?
What?
Like this, you try and put it loose, you want to try and catch it.
Yeah, it could be Issa Deraisa. That's you should not do that on Shabbos. Some people say that you shouldn't, that you shouldn't check your. I think some people don't check their tzitzis on Shabbos at all because they might come to the.
No, what you hold your finger, what you hold your finger, nothing gonna happen.
You don't check, you might be carrying on Shabbos.
Right?
You have 8 strings. No, because if you let's say you have 4 and 4, right? You take it 4 and make it tight. So you make it
there's
tight right there. That in Shabbos, you hold the string.
There's another interesting. There's a chiddush of Chayinah. Chayinah has a chiddush. He says, when do we say that making one knot is like this? This type of knot is considered a professional knot. That's if you make it on 1 string. What if you take 2 strings like this, and you make 1 knot on 2 strings like that?
Why should be a different?
Because it's strong. It's a strong knot. It's a strong knot.
You're making a rope.
When you make 2 knots, when you take 2 strings and you tie them like this, that's clearly not a knot. You just twisted it. It's garnish. Yeah. But if you take 2 of them and you put it together, that's
harder. It's harder.
So that's a strong knot. That's not. So that's for sure not al pi halacha. Right? Yeah, it's for sure considered not. It's considered not al pi halacha. But Chayinah has a chiddush, and he wants to say that this is not considered a professional knot, and therefore a knot like this is mutter if it's for less than 24 hours. For less than 24 hours, according to Chayinah, he has a chiddush. He says you can make such a knot.
Nobody do a knot like that.
What?
It's not professional.
Yeah,
you can't sell it. It's not my soul. You can't even sell something like that.
Yeah.
You wouldn't buy a rope like that.
Fisherman's knot. The fisherman.
You
put in the tie. It's very strong.
It's strong, but Chayinah, he says it's not considered professional enough, and it's mutter for less than 20 if you're going to undo it that day. What else is there? There's so the other common issue you have is garbage bags. How do you tie a garbage bag on Shabbos? So a double knot is usher, right? And the Pashas is a deraisa, yeah? You're going to leave it there, you're not ever undoing it. And even what about just making a knot and a bow on top of it? That's also an issue because a bow on top of a knot is only mutter if you're going to undo it within 24 hours, and then you're going to do it that day, right? No one's undoing their garbage bags.
No, he's just throwing the garbage.
Right, so that's the issue.
Wait for the garbage man to come.
Just do a boat without a tight. Just do a boat without a force knot.
Oh, so just doing a single.
No, that comes apart.
No, just both.
He wants the bow.
So either you just make a single knot, or you make a slip knot, right? If you have the one with the drawstrings, you have the 2 drawstrings, you pull them together.
Go ahead.
Yeah, and you pull them together, and you make a slip knot out of the 2 strings, like that. You make a slip knot with the drawstrings.
Let me see you slip it.
Yeah, so then you pull this end, and it gets undone. Yeah. that's it's like either you just make a single knot or you make a slip knot with the two ends.
But not double,
Not like what you do on your shoes.
A double knot, no, it
not
could
a
be,
double and not about it.
for sure not a double knot, and even a tie. It's a
The shoes is
shayla.
the one that the garbage bag that you just pull this. You don't even have to do nothing. Once you hold this, it's already closed.
Depends how full it
But it opens up. It opens up.
You take it straight to the garbage.
You drop that.
Put it down.
Saying if you live in a building, you drop that down the incinerator. It's gonna open up. So what else is there to talk about? There's so be'emes, some people question this. This is nice with the garbage bags. They question, a lot of achayim question if this is considered a permanent knot. Because usually the typical example of a kesher shakayim, a permanent knot, is you make a knot and you cure that, and you want the knot to stay there. You don't want the knot to come out. So that's a typical example of a permanent knot. What happened if you make a knot and you made the knot, you need it now, and afterwards you don't care about it. You don't care what happens.
Like the garbage can.
Right, which was the same thing as a garbage bag. So is that considered a permanent knot? So there's a tshuva from the Mariel Diskin. So he's mesupik. Maybe that's not considered a permanent knot. Maybe that's not considered a permanent knot. And other achronim nowadays, recent achronim, the Tzitz Eliezer.
For a different application is a permanent knot. For your application is not permanent. So it's not that it's your intent. It makes what the knot is. I don't understand that.
Let's say you make a bow. Yeah, a bow is not a nice. It's not a kesher uman. You make a bow on top of a knot. It's not a kesher uman, and it's okay if it's less than 24 hours. But you don't care if it lasts for more than 24 hours. It happens to be it's going to end up you're going to throw it out, so it's going to stay for more than 24 hours. But you don't care about it. So is that considered?
Once it hits the garbage, you don't care.
So you don't care. Yeah, you don't care if it gets undone. I'm saying unless the garbage is going to be sitting around until the garbage truck comes to pick it up. So then this whole issue, so then all this whole discussion doesn't apply.
It's ours.
So the recent achrein, the Tzitz Eliezer, Minchas Yitzchak, and Minchas Shleima, they also bring up the shaila, but they weren't so worried about the garbage bags. That wasn't the main discussion. They were bringing up the shaila in regards to different shaila. What was their question? Their question was in the hospitals when they had to give injections on Shabbos for chayla. So I guess the way it works, they had to attach two parts of the injection. I'm not sure. I guess the needle to the tube. I'm not sure. There were two parts they had to attach to each other. And I guess some of them they come apart, but some of them are disposable. You would clip it on and you give the injection, then you throw it out. So they got it. This is a shaila of baina over there. Are you making a kli? So it's a shayla. Could be you're doing a serious isra over there. And so what type of isra is that?
It's for refuah.
So it's for refuah, but you have to get into the dion. Is it isra deraisa? I'm saying if you talk about a chayla she'im if you're chayla, even for a chayla she'im b'sakana, so you have to know what type of isra is it. Isra deraisa? You can't do it. Even if it's
theoretical, you can know how to deal with it.
Even if it's a chayla even if it's a chayla nafal mishkov, so we're makel to do a derabana, but through a goy, not through a yid. So you have to know what type of isra is this. Is this isra or not? You have to figure out what is it.
Syringe to the needle, whatever you're doing, that's fine. Whether or not you're going to take it off or not.
So if it's
moving it, or
so they were discussing about these types of these injections. They didn't take it off. They clipped it on. They gave the injection. They threw it out.
right, so it's disposable.
It was disposable.
Yeah,
so that doesn't have. So since you, if you just put it on, it comes in, you take it right off. It's not a bin. You just put it on and take it off. But if you clip it on there, it's a serious shaila. So they wanted it. So they were makel for the injections. For the needles, since you're going to throw it out, but they also had other sniffim lahakil.
What?
They also had other sniffim lahakil for the injections. I don't remember all the pratim over there, but they reminded that the other to be making for the injections.
Teach all the nurses.
But one of the rayas, so the discussion came from kosher. You make a knot and you throw it out. Is that considered a kasher?
That's not a shaila.
Yeah, that's another discussion. But whatever, avoiding just addressing this part.
When you buy food for Shabbos, takeout food, right? Sometimes they give you a container that's juice or something. They take a regular plastic bag, put it inside, and go 1, 2 nuts. Shabbos.
When you buy from
you bought takeout food, right?
Yeah.
Come a container. And add some juice, chont or soup or whatever. They put it in a plastic bag. and make 2 knots on the plastic
Right,
bag.
so you
Now
can't-
come Shabbos and you want to
You
open
have to
it.
tear it. You have to tear the bag.
Tear it, take a
Tear
knife.
the bag.
You can't open it 2 knots.
Tear the bag.
Tear
Unless
the back, take a knife.
the bag.
Later on, let's say you take a half and you want to put it back. You close it.
So put another bag.
I cannot open it on Shabbos.
No.
It's a garbage bag. Put another garbage bag upside down over the other one.
So, the big issue with this verse is from Pashas from Rashi, and Malta brings it down in Hilchos Sukkah. It's mashma that even a knot which you're going to throw out is considered a kesher shel kayama. Lashon of Rashi, this is number 7. Alter Rebbe in Hilchos Lulav Simtafish and Alsivbo. They're talking about how do you tie the when you make the rings to tie the minim together. How do you make it? So Alter Rebbe says, some people are machmir that the kesher that you tie the minim to each other should be a kesher shel kayama. Like I was saying, when you wrap it, when you wrap the minim together.
All right.
And with Yom Tif, you can't make such a knot. Why? Shahayu kesher shel kayama. It's a kesher kayama. Why? She'in cheshes atira ilamis. You're never going to untie it. So what do you do? So even though what's the nice of the lulav, you throw it out afterwards, right? You make aniva. You get rid of it. You're not holding on to it. Still, you see, it has the din of a kesher shel kayama leilam. So Pashas so Pashas is so Pashas is tying the garbage bag is a serious issue.
How about you like to insert the ring on Yom Tif itself?
So
that's one of the rings.
So the way we do our rings, it's not really a kesher. We just wrap it around a bunch of times. So it's not really a kesher. So Pashas,
the ones, the prefabricated rings, the ones that you buy.
We do like a ring on the finger.
Yeah, like a ring on the finger.
So it's going back.
Yeah, I want to know if it fell off on Yom Tif, are you allowed to take another ring, just insert it onto the top of the ring?
What do you say? Pashas is fine. Wrapping it or pulling it through the hole is also fine. It's not a kesher. You're not making a knot over there. Pashas, that's fine.
Maybe you're tightening the ring. The ring has a kesher shel kayama.
The ring doesn't have a kesher. I'm saying there's a hole, and you're pulling it through the hole a bunch of times, so it gets tight. You're just wrapping it around there. You're not making any knots at the end.
You can make it from scotch. The ring.
What?
You can make a Yom Tov from scotch. You know?
Right.
Yeah,
making right. That might be a kesher.
Once you have the ring already, just going around with this.
I'm talking about something different. I think you're talking about something different. That was something you wrap around. I'm talking about something. Well, whatever.
Right. I don't know. That's how we make our things. I'm not sure.
You see, the Chabad is like only 3 and 2. Like 3 in the bottom. So sometimes it's opening a little.
I have to look at it. I see.
Put it back inside.
I'm used to something different.
No, you used to have like you put the obvious in one side, the others in one side, and you already have
the ring. My rings of braided. It's a very complicated ring.
Made
I couldn't do it. That really a kesher shel kayama. As you know, you got to be taught how to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do a kesher shel kayama. You have to have a lot of practice, right?
Beautiful.
So I think we
Chacham should learn. I think the Gemara says they should learn how to do a kesher shel kayama.
I think we discussed everything we needed to discuss.
Beautiful.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah.